Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Maze and the new Orient called Bit Stopper has finally been released. So I hope you enjoy this one. Okay, before we start, I would just like to say that this origin is considered as relatively hard and it would take some time to learn how to properly use this origin to reach its maximum potential. And primarily because of how your primary key and your secondary key works. But before I explain those two, I will just explain the negative side first. Now, the first negative side that you get is called lightweight. As this origin, wearing armor would reduce your speed depending on the armor value that they give. And each armor slots right here gives their own movement speed reduction. If I wear a full leather cap armor, it would not hinder me that much, and you can still move around properly. But if I wear a netherite armor, full set, it would hinder me a lot more. Now, you can mix and match different kind of armor different kind of armor right here. To to try and lessen the the movement speed reduction that you get this origin. So the next negative would be needling quick. As this origin, you take 50% more damage the slower you are, and 20% less damage the faster you are. So one way to detect that you're slow is I'm gonna give myself a slowing effect. Go 30 and level 2. Now you can tell that needling quick is taking effect once you see that particle on your head right here. It means you take 50% more damage. If I summon a husk over here, okay, let me just heal myself before I can do anything. Come on, heal up. Okay. There. And it took like roughly 3 points of damage, or 4 or 5 points of damage, relatively. Oh, let me give myself the slowness again. There we go, three hearts, basically. So if I attack clear myself and give myself movement speed. Now, you can't exactly tell if you have 20% damage reduction unless you move. Now, this is what's called as peak speed. Which once you have this rail, it means you have reached your actual peak speed, and anything from that you'll gain positive. And one negative, that is. So while you're at your peak speed right here, you take less damage. And that's it for the needling trick. Now the next one is called impactful. And this will only work once you reach peak speed. So if I give myself this one, and if I summon a pillager here, okay. Now what impactful does is if you get hit by a projectile while you're moving at peak speed, you will stagger. Like this. So if I just keep moving, there we go. You are unable to move during a 1 second time period, and this can only happen every 1.25 seconds. Now, the next negative is called piercing impact, which basically means that you take 50% more damage towards any sort of projectiles. If I let this villager hits me, there we go. That is roughly 3 hearts as well. But this can increase in damage by basically it stacks another 150% if you are at peak speed. Oh, I gotta get out of here. So properly keep those negatives in mind. And basically that's it for the negative on this origin. Let's start with your secondary key. Your secondary key is a short dash, and the dash will reset if there's an entity within 20 blocks of you. And entities will glow yellow if they are within 20 blocks, and will glow green if they are within 10 blocks, as mentioned here on your primary key. And you are immune to fall damage, and The secondary key requires to be greater than 6 hunger bar or to be fast as sprinting. And let's try it right here. Oh, and before we actually start, energize hearts. Energize hearts, when you press your secondary key, you gain 1 heart up to 10, like up to like an extra 10 hearts. This is temporary hearts, by the way. And you'll gain 2.5% damage reduction per secondary cast and 12% movement speed per secondary cast. Those stacks. So if I press my secondary key here without sprinting, it will say I'm not enough momentum or I'm not fast enough. So if I sprint and press secondary key, it allows me to dash, and I gain a temporary heart right there. And if I dash again, it increases by another heart. There again, and there you go, up to 4 times. It allows the dash to reset up to 4 times, but there is another way of work around it that I will showcase later on. And you see, with enough dashes, you reach your peak speed, which is actually pretty helpful because I will explain that on the primary key as well, as what the peak speed can do to your secondary. Oh wait, no, I can just do it right now. So, if I give myself a movement speed, let's say 6, right? Now, if you press your S, your backwards key, and you press your secondary key, you dash back. And B, you dash. Oh no, we reached cooldown because no one was nearby. Okay. Here we go. If you press A, you dash in here, you press B, you dash in there. Basically, it allows you a different set of like motions by pressing your secondary key when you're on your peak speed. Okay, that's it for the secondary key. Okay, the primary key is exceedingly hard to explain, so I'm gonna try my best to explain it as best as I can. Now, your primary key is called Rhythmic Beat. Once you press your primary key, you will initiate a rhythm minigame. Yes, a rhythm minigame based on your performance will grant boosts that you may or may not need. So properly keep that in mind. Now, the combination explains in your ability called Beats, which is way down here. There we go. You see how it's called 0, 0, it's basically called binary. It's because it's easier to explain that way. And where is it? So if it's 0, it's considered as offbeat, and if it's 1, it's considered as onbeat. So how do you reach onbeat and offbeat? The rhythm minigame is a timing game, basically. You have to press the primary key again at the correct time or press it early, and you'll gain on beat respectively and off beat respectively. If you miss the beat, it will be considered as off beat. Now, here's the funny part that this origin tends to have. If you press your primary key and then at the same time you miss the beat, you actually skip the next minigame, and basically what happened was you basically just did two rhythm minigame, because the reason for this is since you miss the beat and you press your primary key at the same time, the missed beat is completely gone, and then the second phase of the minigame appears, and it's considered it as a early press. So that tends to get punishing for anyone who actually missed it. And also one more thing, the rhythmic beat also gain benefits from the energized hearts, meaning that if you press your primary key, even if you miss or if you press early, you'll gain 50% of 15% movement speed that stacks. So since since the minigame happens 3 times, it gives you 15% per press on those minigames. So let's see here. Let me try to get all of them on beat, which is this one. 111. Increase your movement speed by 13% 3 times. And increase your swim speed by 50%. If you're not on combat mode, if you are on combat mode, you reduce nearby entities' speed by 25% and increase by 50% if not on combat mode. So how do you achieve combat mode? If you take damage, or you hold a weapon or a shield both in your offhand and offhand and on hand, to gain this sword icon. that is to say that you've reached you're in combat mode. And let's see, let's start your minigame right here. There we go. Now, interesting thing about this is that you see, I gain movement speed. You also gain this area of effect around you. So if there's a husk here, it does nothing. Oh, see, it gives them movement speed. But if you're in combat mode, it damages them and knocks them back and slows them down. Now, you see here, if I summon a husk and I try the movement speed again. Now, no matter at the end of the mini game, right? Yeah, you are unable to do melee attack. So if I summon a husker again, no matter how hard I try to hit him, nothing happens. And also your AoE right here will naturally deal damage. There we go. They will naturally deal damage and knock back entities as long as you're in combat mode. And the passive damage is 2 hearts, and it goes through armor and resistance potion. There we go. I think it's 2 hearts. Is it? I can't really ever tell with these numbers. So let's move on from that. And one of the most common combination that you're gonna use this origin is the 1-1-1. So let's start with the other one, 1-1-0. So what if you miss on the last part of the minigame? Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Here we go, reduce dash limit. So what this does is if it turns green and you press your secondary key, you will not gain a stack that limits your dashes. So see, let's do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Oh, look at that. Okay. While we still have the secondary keys, energized art active, let's give ourselves movement speed. So this is how fast the origin technically can get if it wanted to. And yes, that is one of its benefits. And oh yes, it plays this song as well, so which is pretty nice. And the next one is 101, increased mining speed. Now this one is a very nice skill to have because it doesn't matter if you're in a combat mode or not. You will increase nearby players and by extension entities their movement speed. So let's see. Oh. I like that for this. There we go. And the next one is increase projectile damage to self by 75%. If on CM, decrease nearby entities projectile damage by 50%. So what this does is 110, I believe. Is it 110? No, it's just 100. This increase your projectile damage, which is really nice because you can't melee anyone. So I'm not sure if the trident considered as projectile damage, but we'll see. It deals 10 damage. How about now? Still 10. Oh, there we go. I think it increased on the trident, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so that's it for the 100. The next one is 011. Now on 011, it does something different. Normally it's a simple heal, but what it does is, hello, here, the villager right here. So let me damage this villager. So what 011 does is, let's damage our dog as well. That's it. Now, what? I'm sorry for that. Okay, so okay, I found a random bug on 011. And I fixed it real quick. I'm so sorry about that. And let's continue on. So, what 011 does is this. It heals 3 hearts if not on combat mode to all nearby entities and damages them by 5 hearts if not on combat. And the damage here is much more slower than the passive that you normally get by after the minigame. And it also does not pass through armor and potion effects. So it has a unique interaction with your pet, such as this. See, it increased their maximum health by, I guess, by an additional 10 points. So that is 2, 4, roughly 5 hearts. And if you're on combat mode, you damage entities near you. See that? Okay. Now you won't be able to damage entities that are not glowing like this. So a villager inside this house, you can't harm it. So let's see here. Oh. Okay. See? See? Yep, you can't damage it. And that is a one thing that you need to keep in mind. So the next one, as we continue on, is called 010. So offbeat, onbeat, offbeat. Leaves an echo that pulls nearby entities towards it once in a while. This one is a little bit wild to say the least. If I summon an iron golem here and have it chase me, and I do that specific one, and I keep moving around, you'll see it pull towards me. See? And basically that's what the entire ability does. And the next one is 001. 001 is a little bit unique. It's a cleanse. It's one of your best supportive items. And what it does is, as we go back here, it cleanses all negative effect, excluding Bad Omen, to self and nearby entities, or cleansing positive effect while combat mode is active. This includes self and your pet. So if we do this, if I give the Iron Golem a negative effect, let's see. There we go. See, it can't chase me, but if I decide to cleanse the effect, see, it's now able to move. But if I'm on combat mode, right? If I give the Iron Golem a, let's see, speed. If I give this Iron Golem speed, and maybe affect clear it first. Okay, I'm panicking. Okay, there we go. Oh! Anyway. Okay, now it has a movement speed, right? Oh, okay, it remembers me. Wait, seriously? Okay. There we go. I cleanse the effect. And oh, I need to be. It no longer as fast as it used to be. And basically that. Oh. Okay, that Iron Golem really scared me. Okay, now the last one is 000. Basically mixing all of them. What this does is it reduces your, passive damage that you have, that AoE one, into 1 point. It basically means half a heart, but it increases your knockback AoE. So if I do this, I choose the beat stopper again. And if I do this, and just miss all of them. Now, it doesn't matter whether or not you're in a combat mode. It will continually knock back someone out. And basically, that's it for this origin. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you probably next month. Bye bye. I forgot one last thing. What's this? This origin can interact with the parrot in a different way. As you can see, parrots can mimic noises and can mimic even other entities. Now, if the beat stopper origin right here, if I summon a localized villager, and I did this special, I can do this. Now, after a while, the parrot will also mimic, creating a shorter AoE of itself. So what this does basically is it knocks back entities, but in a more faster and farther way. This only works on the parrots that you own, and that is always a nice touch to add. And also one last thing I actually forgot. Sculk sensors. Sculk sensors can detect your primary key when it's active. As you can see here. See? They can detect it as well because there's a fireworks that appear under you. And this also works the same way as with the Warden. If I summon a Warden here, see how it's attracted to me? So you really need to be careful as this origin when you're wandering in whatever this Warden place spawns in. Because I'm not really adapting changes in Minecraft. So probably be careful with that one, and basically this is a probably goodbye now.